Hi, my name is Kristen Moran from noomii.com, the professional coach directory. Today I'm interviewing Jeffrey Rakesh, also known as JR from India. Welcome, Jeffrey. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Kristen. Thank you so much. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, likewise. So, can you please start by describing your ideal client?
So, my ideal clients are business owners and CEOs who want to build a thriving business. It will also involve sometimes the founding team. There are people who come in as a team of founders and the leadership team within the business who contribute to the business growth. Some statistics say that 90% of businesses fail in the first 5 years. That need not necessarily mean that the 10% are successful. Some of those businesses are merely surviving. So I work with businesses who want to build a thriving business from inception and also with businesses that are already successful and want to go to the next level.
Okay, great. So, how do you help your clients achieve those business goals?
I think I need to take the name of my guru, Tony Robbins, here, who says business is 80% psychology and 20% mechanics. So the 80% is the why to and 20% is the how to. Many business leaders get caught in, how in the how to and they forget the purpose, the why for which they came into business. I help business owners focus on the why and ensure that there is a geometric growth in their business. Results is what matters to me, and that's what I focus on. One of the common challenges I face by these business owners is that they're not able to focus on the business in its entirety. They focus sometimes on if they're building a product or a service first, or let me first focus on what kind of services I'm going to offer. And once that is ready, they start focusing on sales. And they focus on sales, sales, sales. At one point, they focus on profits, profits, profits. And then suddenly they see that there is a need for focus on servicing the clients. And then again, shift the focus into the product. So, what happens in this process is business owners get caught in this vicious circle of what to focus on. So in my coaching process, I help them build a model so that all these functions of the business contribute continuously. It holds true for a small to medium large businesses, as small as a 10 to 20 employees business, to a business which has a few thousands of employees. In fact, I also run a 3 days immersive workshop called Business Mastery, which is for the masses who can benefit and build successful businesses.
Oh, that sounds fantastic. And Jeffrey, what kind of feedback do you typically get from your clients after you've been working together for a while?
Let me take two examples where this has really created a shift and helped grow businesses. In 2016, a friend of mine introduced an entrepreneur to me who was merely surviving. His annual turnover was about 200,000 US dollars and he had a team of about 12 people including himself. He has been into this business for the last 4 years and he was fully convinced that his business couldn't grow any further. He thought he had reached the peak of his business and there was no scope for him to go beyond this. So once I started working on his mindset and helping him to have more clarity on what his potential was and what is the capability of his business that he was working on, we worked together and he closed $1 million in the last financial year and grew his team to 30 people. From a revenue perspective, that's a growth by 5 times. So the other example is, last year I was introduced to a visionary. This guy had a very, very clear vision to establish a business which was worth about $50 million, roughly about 350 crores in Indian rupees. He's been ideating and working on this for the last 3 years before he met me. Clearly, this guy doesn't need any motivation. He's all inspired. He's a senior entrepreneur. He's generating new ideas every day. But what he lacked was execution of his ideas. He lacked focus, and since he was an idea generator, he faced problems in building a sustainable business. Once we started working together and having my coaching interventions with him, it helped him build the right teams. And within a year's time, this guy has crossed $1 million. This is something this guy was not able to achieve in the last 3 years by himself. And when we worked together, I made him achieve this in a year. His vision of hitting that $50 million in 5 years is definitely going to be a reality. In fact, the way I look at it, we are going to exceed that.
Oh, that's such wonderful feedback. Thank you for sharing that. And finally, what's your background and how did you get into coaching?
I started my career when I was a young kid going to college. I sold credit cards. I always had a passion for sales. So if you ask me at the core, I'm a typical hardcore sales guy, I would say. So, starting from there, I moved into heading businesses for Asia Pacific. Overall, I worked for about 16 years in sales, where I managed different businesses across 10 countries. So, my experience in working with these businesses made me realize a fact that there is a pattern in which any business can become successful. There are a few do's and a few don'ts, in which if you follow, your business can either succeed or you can fail. So after I learned all this and I started implementing it across, these many businesses that I was working with, during this journey, I learned something called NLP, the neuro linguistic programming. I was gifted to be exposed to this technique, and I learned it in detail and became a master practitioner of NLP. And that is when I realized there is so much that I can contribute to the society as a combination. So I started using this combination of my experience in business as well as the beautiful techniques of NLP to help people. While I've coached for life, relationships, or any other areas, business became my core. And that is what was, that's where I was finding a lot of fulfillment for myself. So I started finding my success in the success of other businesses. And that's what keeps me driving, every day. This is how I got into coaching, and this is how my journey is, continuing today.
That's great, Jeffrey. Thank you again for sharing, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.